Om apyayantu mamangani Bak pranaschakshu shrotram Athabalam indriyani cha sarvani Sarvam brahma upanishadam Maham brahma nirakuryam Mama brahma nirakarod Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam meostu Tadatmani nirateja upanishatsu dharmaha Te mai shantu Om shanti shanti shantihi Om. May all functions of our minds, the works of our bodies and the activities of our senses please the Almighty Brahman, who is described in the Vedanta. May we not forget that truth. May we realize His presence in us. May we not be forsaken by Him. May all divine qualities adorn our souls and bring peace to our minds. Om peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So today our topic is freedom. It is such a subject that it is the cry of every heart, from mortal being, human, subhuman, even gods, angels, all running for freedom. And freedom, even the plants and animals, we see freedom, search for freedom. No one wants to be in bondage, slavery. And eternal freedom achieved when we can conquer ourselves. The whole nature is struggling for freedom from all bondage, obstacles, impediments and limitations. The whole world and the universe, with its millions and billions and trillions of stars and planets, all are trying to be freed from the rotation of their life. That is the cry for that. Free from the ties of the bond, since everything is bound, which is under the gravitational pull, everything is pulling. But the freedom says, no, I won't be pulled down. Starting from the amoeba to the highest gods, and plants, animals, creatures, human beings, they are all struggling to go above, beyond the rules that makes us slave. That's why Swamiji said azad. Azad means freedom, total freedom. We find that even a crawling worm, an insect, is trying to change its, Swami Vivekananda says, trying to change its course. He talks about that a big railway engine is bound slave because it will have to run over the way with the journey to be made only on the rails. He has no freedom. But a crawling ant, just crawling on the railroad, he has the freedom. He tries to get out of that. Engine has no freedom, but the ant has a freedom. So a call of every heart is that freedom. Every sentient entity wants to overcome death, disease, suffering, pain, and all the troubles of life. In human beings, we can feel palpably the expression of struggle. Freedom, we as human beings, we need our freedom. Freedom from physical bondage, from emotional ties, intellectual bondage, our ego plane, finally ultimately from death and suffering, and ultimately we want spiritual freedom. The concept of freedom may be different in different levels of human development, but the core message is the basic cry, is the freedom. That is the cry of every heart. So, in physical plane, let us see how we are all slaves of the conditions. Hunger, thirst, our every moments, every action what we do, fearful about our everyday's movement, uncertainty of life, loneliness. Everywhere we are fearful. But there is an innate nature which says, I am free. Nothing can bind me. So we find that physical level, we have our problems of hunger, thirst, freedom for food, freedom. We don't want to be in suffering. The ceases from homelessness, wants a home. Diseased person wants to cure. A suffering person wants to get out of the suffering. A hungry person wants to have food. These are naturalness of it. But slavery is something different. For the life being going on, we need to have our life going on. But that is not slavery. Slavery is there where we are attached and we cannot get out of it. We are linked to it. Our Gita suggests, ye hi sangsparsajado bhoga dukkha yonayo evate. Whatever the senses and the sense objects, these are the two which are connected together with the mind, help of mind. But whatever sangsparso, the touch comes, the senses and the sense object, when it comes to that oneness with the help of mind, they become immediate source of instant joy. But the Gita suggests that joy is not eternal joy. That joy immediately brings a cause of future suffering. Though it appears immediately to be joyful, Sri Krishna says, Adi Adau Adi Antavanta. It has its beginning and it has its end. It's so flittering, so momentary, that it comes and finishes within split second, and it follows that the suffering comes. So enjoyment that are born out of contact. Contact means the contact of the sense objects and the senses, and that is the root cause of our all misery. And it has beginning and end. Therefore, wise man, Gita suggests, nateshu ramate buddha. The wise people, they should have to think little deeply. What I want, this is good for our experience. To know that it is a bondage. Why not we enjoy life with freedom? That is the cry. Let there be enjoyment. But can it make me free at the same time? But this is the problem of our life. That whenever the sense objects and the senses, they come together. And we, with the mind being impure, mind thinks that that is the only joy. And that binds us there. And it brings us bondage, clingingness again and again to have that experience. And a wise person should have to think again that what I want. Do I want this? Or, let's see, there are even, it has been, Gita suggests, that this sukham, this happiness what we get, the three types of sukha, happiness is available, that it is which ajat agre bishamibo, that happiness which comes towards the beginning, like at the very onslaught, at the very beginning, you want some bitter melon, you eat. You have some diabetes, you eat bitter melon. It is not so good, but it is ultimately good. Jad agre bishamivo, it appears. Say morning, we are all spiritual people, we get up in the morning, and we get up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or they say whatever time. To get up from the bed and I am to, before going to work and to finish my job or meditation, it's at the beginning it is not so pleasing. But ante, at the end, it brings joy. So, Jad Agre Vishamiva, that which is that type of happiness, which is at the beginning appears to be like poison, I don't want it, and body resents, mind resents. And Puriname, at the end, conclusion, it brings joy, spiritual freedom. Mind becomes pure. Mind finds values, meaning and purpose of life is found. Tat Sukham, that Sukha is the Sattvika Sukha. So sense pleasure will be there. There is also pleasure with the help of the mind. We are not first seeing God with closing eyes, but we are imagining. But we are imagining on some object by the help of our mind. So when you are doing that, that Sukha is Sattvika Sukham, and it comes Atma Buddhi Prasadajam, it's Prasannata. The peace is felt inside in our heart of hearts. So that is that type of happiness. But Jad Agre Amritopamam, say going for McDonald's food, very nice. Very immediately, which is very touch gives the nice experience. But Jadagre Amritapamam Puriname Vishamivo. But ultimately it is bringing cholesterol, it is bringing or other ailments of the body. So this type of sukham, this is called the Rajasa Sukha. That type of happiness is happiness, but that happiness is not good because it gives good sense and feeling of enjoyment of the objects of the things, but which ultimately does not give that. That is the Rajasa Sukha. But if one can, Tamasa will be much more at the beginning and the end, both brings us delusion. Not freedom, not the path of freedom. This is the path of, it is taking down to the path of bondage. But now, if we turn the direction in this way, with the help of the mind, so then what will happen? Then it little more light and more light will come. That's why Gita suggests that is the bondage, because the sense and the sense objects are creating the touch, and which ultimately bringing some unhappiness and discomfort and bondage. So what will be the freedom? Freedom will be yo anta sukha, antararama, who finds joy within here. Sukha is there, independent of sense objects or the dependence on anything is bondage. Whatever we depend, and that brings suffering, pain, frustration, and ultimately it creates the mental depression. So, yanta sukha, but the person who have tried to find happiness here, anta, in the inmost recess of the heart, who antara arama, he finds comfort in the own self and in his own light within, antarjyoti. And that is the person, sayogi brahma nirvanam, brahma bhuta. That is the person who finds happiness within, whose relaxation is within, and whose light of consciousness is within. That is the yogi alone, he becoming Brahman. And by that process, the becoming Brahman gains absolute freedom. So absolute freedom is in absolute truth. And this absolute truth is within. And to find within, but we are normally attached to the things outside. Patanjali Yoga suggests that there are 5 types of modification or places, or pain-bearing obstacles in our life. And that is all this ignorance, ego sense, attachment, like that. Avidya, smita, raga, desha, vinivesha, clingingness. He has indicated the point of clingingness. Our suffering is there when we cling to anything. It is a very important point to understand. You go to beautiful museum in New York or any place. You enjoy those beautiful paintings and artwork and everything. But if you try to grab anything, and then there are guards, they will be in difficulty. So this world is beautiful. Everything is wonderful. Sun, moon, stars, grass, beautiful flowers and human being and children, everything. But when you want to grab it, there comes, remove that. Hey, there is nobody. Remove that. Why they keep it? So, this is the point that therefore it says that these are the 5 types of bondage. Avidya, ignorance is the first cause. We do not know. Vedanta says we are all divine, but we do not know. We know that we are this body-mind complex, and therefore we find our all joys and all fun only through the body, as if there is no other level of it. Asmita, my sense, ego sense, I. Raga, then attachment. Desha, hatred. Abhinivesha, clingingness. So we are slaves because of these problems. If we can be in the world, they become the people who are called the Jivan Muktas. They live in the world with utmost joy. For them, ananda, bliss, joy, absolute happiness everywhere. They don't find any suffering. Holy Mother used to say, people talk about so much suffering, but I do not know, my child, what is called suffering. I used to always feel a picture full of joy in my heart. See, anta sukha, anta arama. But she is not stopping the work. She is the most active person in the world. Day and night serving, whoever coming, whatever has duty coming, doing everything. It is not a path for retrieving into the forest and isolation. It is only in active life we have to live in this life and at the same time to feel the freedom of life. So Patanjali says these are the 5 classes of modifications. These are some painful and maybe some are not that painful, little pleasurable, but they are the causes of bondage. How can we get out? That's why Patanjali suggested that abhyas, vairagya, abhyam, tannirodha. Abhyas, practice, and detachment. Repeatedly practice spiritual discipline. And why? But in the whole Raja Yoga it is the mind. Vedanta also talks about mind. And bhakti also mind. If the mind is not there, who will love God? So it is the mind is a main tool to get freedom. Mind itself is a cause of bondage, but mind itself is a tool to help us to get to the eternal freedom. How? Vairagya, what is then Patanjali suggests? That you have to practice regularly and detach, not cling. Don't cling to anything. Let go. Enjoy with all freedom. Like an observer can observe, enjoy everything, whatever comes. When the Laker games come, how much people get excited, supporting one or the other, no? So, because of our likingness, we can enjoy. But who can enjoy? Being attached or detached? That is the point to understand. Whole spiritual life rotates in that. And to have freedom, freedom is detachment. Freedom is a power. Detachment is a power. Clingingness is weakness. It binds us. But bhakti will say, yes, you have clingingness in this, why not turn it towards God? That's another way. But turning is the question, not the way we are driven by our mind and emotions and not thinking of that there is some way out. So Patanjali says here, vairagya is what? Try to see the dosha, the evil aspect of every material object. You need for your sustenance. You have to live with all these things. But what is there to be attached in the objects of the senses? And that's why also in Bhakti school they talk about that you love God with your heart and soul. and then become detached to other things. Tasmin anannata. Let our mind move towards Him, means God and God alone, and one-pointedly, anannata, no anna. Our love for God is like a pot. We love 1,000 things of the world. I also love God. And we give a little share of my love. I cannot give Him totally. That's why, but Patanjali, Narad Sutta says, Tasmin anannata. We'll have to put our mind in Him and Him alone. And then what about that? What are the other objects which distracts, which takes you away from your goal of life? Tad virodhishu, udasinata. Be detached. Live there, but be detached. You need not have to be involved into it. Experience, but detached. So detachment is the word. That's why Yoga Vasishta we read, and Rama was taught by Vasishta, saying, Janmantara satabhyasta Rama samsara sangasthiti shatu chirabhyasa yogeno vina nakshiyate kachit. You know, we have practiced life after life after life, Janmantara shata, hundreds and thousands of life. Hindus believe in rebirth. So you have lived this life of sense experience, and that has gained ground into your mind. That's why your holding on to the world is so natural. But this, to get out of this bondage and this clinginess, we'll have to abhyasa, and make an effort. And at the same time, practice detachment. Gita, whole teaching of Gita is detachment. And we find that if it happens, even Patanjali says that that after practicing this abhyasa and vairagya detachment, what will come? It says that is the extreme non-attachment will come, which will give up even the qualities and comes from the knowledge of the real nature of the consciousness. A point of constant, this is because it is Sankhya, Patanjali, it will say that Purusha Khyati, when that extreme knowledge, that knowledge of Purusha, the consciousness, experience of that, Guna Vaitrishna, the detachment for all the gunas, 24 cosmic principles, all the gunas, 3 gunas, the total detachment. How it will come? That is the point, that practice to understand the momentariness of the objects of the world. There is essential something behind this name and form, that is to seek for that, and focusing in what you call in loving terms, Bhagavan or God, anannata. How we can make our mind one-pointed to it. That's why Bhakti says, see God everywhere. Try to see that you are serving to your husband, to your wife, to your children. See God. And then mind is changed, transformed. And ultimately, a state will come, Patanjali says, that he will reach a point which is called Samyama. And by making that concentration full, discrimination will come, and then you will be able to separate out this consciousness and the matter. As a result, a tremendous detachment will come, which will lead to you the capacity of omnipotence and omnipresence. You will feel that you are omnipresent. And that you are also to discard. Even you, our attraction for the petty things go away, but our attraction for the higher thing will remain. So that is to be also discarded. That's why Vedanta teaches not to crave for the material world, not to crave for the heaven even. Heaven is also not being an object of appreciation for a spiritual seeker who wants freedom. There is also bondage. What is there in heaven? You are a long time bound, long time contract, and you get a 5-star hotel at treatment, that's all. Here we are suffering, we are having to old age, death, and there will be no old age. You are born as young you are. No disease, no doctor is necessary, no hospital is necessary. So these are all good, but that is also bondage. You will be bored after some time. What will you do then? So that we understand. We find a beautiful story if we read the life of Swami Vivekananda says, when one gives up even the ideas of omnipresence and omnipotence, there comes entire rejection of the lower types of enjoyment and temptations. When the yogi has seen all these wonderful powers, even you can hear from a distance, you can see something going on, you can look at someone and read the mind, all these powers come unto you. And if you can give up everything like that, then comes a state when you reach the goal, the freedom from all limitation. We find in the life of Christ beautiful story, no? A shining example in the book of Luke, in the New Testament, where he read Jesus, I'm reading from Bible, Jesus was led by the Holy Spirit in the wilderness for 40 days, and he ate nothing during those days, and when they were ended, he was hungry. The devil said to him, quote, "If you are the Son of God, command this stone to become bread." And Jesus answered him, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone." This is detachment. He has practiced. You say an example. Even the incarnations of God come, they set an example. And these are all allegorical stories. Vedanta will say, devil, we don't believe in devil, but we will say Maya or ignorance. Ignorance last bite. You want to totally be free? Now he is coming with temptations. We call temptations. So Christ was asked to turn the stone to bread. But what Christ said, that man shall not live by bread alone. You are making a big deal, as if bread is the only purpose of our life. Huh? But bread is not giving you freedom. Therefore it is not interesting. There's a wonderful lesson here. Man cannot live on bread alone. People earn money, have house, building, prosperity, name, fame. I jokingly say, in third world countries, people are crying to have some little food, but they have no money. No? And God's funny play. And in this country or in many good countries, wealthy countries, what happens? They have enough money. They earn 100,000, 150,000, but eating time they eat only salad. This is the fun of life, no? See how we are getting allured. The point is that the poor people in India, if they get little food, those who are in the agriculture or in that daily labor, they are so hungry, they need more food. And they have no money, they cannot have it. And we have enough money, but we are losing weight. Here everyday struggle, how much one can lose weight and go for that. See the attraction of our life, which direction we are heading on, finding peace. There is the lack of food, here is money. Food is available, they are throwing away so much food. You go to the restaurants, you will be seeing, you will feel bad, what they have to do by law or whatever. See, but this is the dichotomy going on. But everyone is trying to find peace. Through money, to have salad, and without money, to have food. So this is the, man cannot live that. So this understanding, and wise person will have to think, where is the joy? It's not in the material world, on seeing what we see and what we want to experience. And then devil failed here. Maya failed. Ignorance failed to delude Christ. No? Then it says, Luke continues, and the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time, and said to him, to you I will give all this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. If you then worship me, it will be all yours. So it is coming to bigger temptation. Bigger temptation, all the kingdom, all the good things of the world, land, property, wisdom, enjoyment, kingly enjoyment, you can have everything. So I am offering it to you. Ignorance bite again. And what he said? And Jesus answered him, it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall ye serve. God cannot serve two. No. God and mammon, you cannot serve two. So you cannot do that. You are showing greater joy. Only eating is one thing. That was the first survival question. And then second question is coming, you become the Lord of the universe. Money, wealth, prosperity, name, fame, everything is in your hand. That does not make you happy. And that is to be detached. And here is Christ what he says, that you cannot digress your attention to this prosperity, to these lofty things of the world which make you famous to the world. So what a foolish idea. We are trying to get freedom through this. There is nothing wrong, but it is a step to understand. We have to go to higher and higher level of detachment. So it's a higher level of detachment where the ignorance is coming and telling, you have this property, land, prosperity, be the king of this world, that world, that world. Will you be happy there? Christ, because of his purity of the heart and his own spiritual practice as Ramakrishna did, he is showing that no, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall ye serve. You have no other business. That means you, even in ignorance, whatever we are doing in Bhakti school talking about, Vedanta also says, don't think you are serving man or woman. Ramakrishna tradition says, Shiva Jnane Jiva Seva. You are serving the individual soul, man and woman. Don't think that. You are serving Lord Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. So here, your attitude should be to serve Shiva, not the Jiva. The ignorance, in ignorance, what we think that we are serving man. We are giving some charity to the homeless person. We prepared 200 kits now for the homeless people this morning. We are great people, we are giving. No. You are giving whom? Whose thing we are giving to whom? It is only God, serving God. So if every service is to be turned towards God, that is the goal, that is the way of freedom. Even Christ is showing that. Then again, temptation goes on in a deeper level, grows to subtle to subtle. Third time, and the devil took him to Jerusalem and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down from here. For it is written, he will command his angels and concerning you to guard you. And on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against the stone. So jump from here. Then you prove that you are a miracle monger, a miracle person, and you are a son of God, to prove that. But what a lover of God will say? And Jesus answered him, it is said, you shall not put the Lord your God to test. It is proven, it is an experience. He is my beloved. Why shall I put him into test? What a deep connection of love and unity with the divine comes. Total detachment comes from the world. So it is an allegorical story, or whatever has happened in the written. What a deep, profound feeling is here, which matches everything, whatever the Patanjali Yoga says, what the devotional practice takes us, what the teaching of the Vedanta teaches us. Detach Wherever you go, there is limitation. And that is not all. Only fulfillment and freedom is in God and God. And then that God, maybe Saguna to Nirguna, Sakara to Nirakara, that is a different journey, and the journey it will take. That's why I have read that Patanjali. I wanted to clear it, that even you attain a higher flight of spirituality, omnipresence and omnipotent, that's God's characteristic. You give up that also. See the detachment level. It as you move into the spiritual journey, this freedom, to attain to higher freedom, everything is to be detached. So it's a sacrifice. It's not sacrifice of pain, but sacrifice of joy, because you have what your inherent divine nature is. So it teaches us, try, detach, and be free. Where is freedom? You see, even in Hindu mythology, if we got to say, all the gods and goddesses, what are they? They are big officers, holding different high positions. You go, Hindus will have rain god, Varuna, okay? All the thing is controlled by him, all the rain, okay? But is he not duty bound? Where is the freedom? You have to run the show, run the business. But what Christ said, that God, you should not test God, your whole mind and heart should go in God. So even that's why gods and goddesses are the goal of life. But the point is a renunciation. I'm just not to compare Christ, what is called Ram, all these divine entities which Hindu faith believes. But what I am saying, what degree of renunciation is necessary? So we have to train ourselves to get into that type of renunciation and detachment, because this has its limitation. So we find that in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad we talk about that mind, which creates this bondage. Let us turn towards little Vedanta. That what creates the bondage to us? Who creates the bondage? External object? External world? No. No one can bind me. I am bound by my own fault. And what is that? What is the cause of bondage? The Upanishad says, the mind, your mind is the cause of bondage. Try to correct the mind. Don't try to correct the world. We want to try to correct the world and put all the blame to anyone and everyone we can for our own escape. And escaping is one thing. But to real freedom is something. And to get the freedom, we will have to work on our mind. So, manohi dividhang praktam. So, mind has two characteristics. Mano, our mind, has two characteristics. Dividham, two. What is that? Shuddham, or shuddham evacha. One is called shuddhaman, pure mind. Another is ashuddha, impure mind. What is pure? What is impure? My mind is my mind. Yes, no, this mind has two characteristics. One is impure, another is pure. What is impure? Ashuddham. Very simple. Our sages are so clear in understanding and gives us a clear direction. Ashuddham kama sankalpam. Simple formula. If we remember the whole spiritual life, we end here. Ashuddha. This mind is impure when it is attached to kama, means lust, desire, and sankalpa means resolution. I got it, I will get that, then I will follow this, and then I will get it, then we will get it. Our attention shifts from one goal to the other goal to the other goal to the other goal, all rotating around the material universe. This material universe, physical universe is gross, then you go to heaven. In the ancient time, in Vedic culture, the Vedas has two segments. Karma Kanda will take us to all sacrificial fire and everything. For what? To pleasing the gods and goddesses, and so that I can go to heaven and have some heavenly enjoyments and experiences. That is ashuddha. Even that is ashuddha. But what? Shuddham, what is the definition of pure mind? Kama vivarjitam. Very simple definition. That mind which is varjita, is bereft of. Vivarjita, totally bereft of. Totally bereft of kama. Kama means our lust. And lust leads to greed. All these things which start in the ignorance, and mind takes us to petty things. Problem is that we want to be free. How can I be free if I am bound in petty things? Nalpe shukham asti, bhuma eva shukham. Upanishad says, there is no sukha, there is no happiness in alpa. Alpa means in the petty, small. How can you get the eternal joy thinking that through a petty small object I will be happy? That's why you have to think bigger thoughts, higher thoughts, nobler thoughts. And the highest thought is God. And God is that absolute where there is no limitation, absolute limitation. And even in the tradition of God, concept of God, if you think that monotheistic God is the God who is omniscient and omnipresent, without form, that you have to also give up. That's why a knower of truth rises above of gods and goddesses even. So there is no clingingness at anything other than the absolute. So that is the Shuddham, Kama Vivarjitam. And this is the cause of our bondage, Mana Eva Manushyanam, all human society. There is no question of which country, which gender, which color we are. But all mind is mind. This mind is the cause of karanam, cause of bondage and cause of mukti. Bandhayo Vishaya Shaktang again. If I keep my mind in attaching myself to the Vishaya, the senses, sense objects, and get caught there and stuck to that and don't think anything beyond, then it is bondage. And muktam, that is called the freedom, nirvishayam. There will be no subject, there will be no objective level of attachment. There will be, object will remain, but object will appear as God. Object is appearing as only our sensate attachment. Wherever I am attached, that type of universe I live. 5 senses are bringing all 5 informations, and our mind being a tool is getting linked with that, and I feel joy or I feel suffering. So suffering is bad. Joy is also bad. Pleasure is also bad. Pain is bad. We understand. Pain is bad. We don't want it. But pleasure is also bad. Because today's pleasure becomes the cause of suffering of tomorrow, as Gita suggested, and also our experience. My experience, my favorite example I give almost in every lecture, ice cream. Suppose you like ice cream and you take ice cream. And ice cream eating is good once to taste it. But when I am attached to the ice cream, look at that. Whenever I see ice cream, my mind says, aha. And if someone loves me and brings me, who loves me? He can't give me more ice cream. And you get ice cream. Now, ice cream I like, you give me ice cream, 1 scoop, 2 scoops, 3 scoops. I said, no, I don't, 3 scoops, I don't take more. No, Swami, you like, take more. And the whole box you bring it. And no, you like, I will feed you. And then it will be torture, is it not? If Vishaya, sense, touch would have been given me the joy, so okay, you give 1 scoop, that should be 1 unit of joy. You give 2 scoop, 2 units of joy. So you give 100 unit, I will give 100 unit of joy. No, it reaches some optimum level of my ability, and then it turns opposite. It is pain. Now you will have to, you like it, I will make you sit here and you will have to gulp it. See, what is joy? That is not joy. Actually, that brings ultimately this type of suffering. And after effect, forget. After effect, what will happen with the cholesterol or blood sugar, those are other things. But immediate effect also is not that joyful. That which appears to be joyful. But can we find our joy this way? No. That's why we are to nirbishayam manaso mukti. So therefore what to do? Nirasta vishaya shangang shang niruddhang manohridi jatha ayati atmano bhavam tada tat paramam padam. When the mind with its attachment for sense objects are annihilated, when you find that it is not giving me joy, after of course everyone needs to experience. Only mere talk will not do. So one should go through the experience, but there are many people who learn different ways. One can learn by seeing someone. One can learn by experiencing that one time. One may learn experiencing many times and getting frustrated, then learn. So there are different levels because we are in a spiritual journey. No one in the same level. We have not started our spiritual life at the same point of time. So someone is advanced, someone is here, someone is there. But ultimate result is that we should have to detach Vishaya Ashangam. Vishaya, sense objects should be there, but Ashakti, attachment, clingingness, greed, that is to be avoided. And then mind should be turned into a positive thinking, to that which is unchanging, from the change to unchanging. So, we have to concentrate then, detach from the sense objects in that way, and mano ridi niruddha. See, they are talking about yoga. Niruddha means hold the mind, or make the mind ripple free in your heart, and till control in your heart, and thus realize the essence of our own entity, and that is the supreme state will be gained. That means here is the instruction, at least Amrita Bindu is giving, that we should have to meditate. Meditate on the higher truth which is within our heart, that effulgent, self-effulgent Atman. How long to do? Tavadevo nirodhabhyam javat hridigatang shayam na etaj jnanam cha dhyanam cha shesho na nyayascha vistaro. The main subject of this is till the attachment, Vishaya Ashakti, attachment which is in my ignorant mind sitting in me, that gets destroyed. Till then, practice should be continued every day so that the truth will reveal. Rest, this is the essence. Upanishad says, etaj jnanam, this is called jnana, the true knowledge. This is called dhyanam, this is true meditation. Or sesho, and all the other things are only linked, it is only talk, only argumentative verbiage. It is only talk, only sounding, some high sounding words. So, this is a great direction we can find, that what to do, what not to do. Our attachment we know, our slavery for objects we know. We are slaves, really we become slave. Anything we practice afterwards we become a slave. Giving the example, people start drinking for some reason or other, good reason, maybe suffering, this, that. But once when we start, we get attached, and then it becomes, I cannot escape from that. I am tied there. And that tie to get out of that is become a big problem. So that's why we are going to Alcoholics Anonymous and other meetings. People are trying to work hard. But how it started in that way to get, first it was one time tasting is nothing wrong. Yes, it gives a good feeling. Drug. We are finding what is the impact of drug, how people are becoming totally dependent, drug addicted. We are also addicted. They're the gross example of addiction, drug and drinking. And then when they're totally into it, it's a big problem to come out of that. Ours also is a problem. We are spiritual personality. We are also addicted. We do not know. We have to search with a, microscope inside. That's the mind. Pure mind will have to be a microscope. And then it should have to search, where is the problem? And then to solve that problem. It's actually what, in simple language, what we have to do is a good example. You cook, when you cook, how you cook? You cook in utensils. But you have nowadays non-sticky pots and pans, no? Non-sticky, that is the major point. How easy to cook. You cook the fish, you cook everything, but in non-sticky pan. So this is the life problem. We will be in the world. Can it be non-sticky? The non-sticky idea is only whole Gita talks about non-sticky pan. That is the inner search. We have to find out where I am getting stuck. That example, that the boatman was rowing for taking the gentleman to his daughter's home in Bangladesh. Rivers are many rivers in the evening time. The daughter is sick. And that boatman is rowing the boat severely. And whole night. And father said, why it is taking so long time? Where we are? And they saw the same place, the boat is still there. He said, what did you do? Then the boatman said, sir, you see, I am working hard. I am rowing the boat, I am sweating. Look at that. My sincere effort you can. But only I forgot to lift the anchor. Here it is stuck. Because it is stuck. I am doing all this, but nothing happening. So it's a very important point that how we can think that we can live in the world, how with freedom. Wherever we get stuck, that is bondage. And people do not know how to love, how to give love, how to love non-sticky pan. Love, give, whatever you want to give. Give your heart and soul. But be detached. How? Unless you see divine, unless you see God, unless you see something that is eternal. No? Otherwise your sticky will be in the temporary thing which is all moving, all changing, all the time, everything. I am changing, you are changing, body is changing, mind is changing. Where is the stable thing here? So the freedom, the struggle of freedom and the process of freedom is to train our mind from ashuddha, impure state to the pure state. And pure and impure is a very hazy word. We can deal with that all the time and we don't get any clarity. But here is the clarity. That mind, when I am meditating, Christ said that you shall worship the Lord your God and Him only shall ye serve. Am I meditating on Him or am I going to any other thing? If goes, why I am going there? That question is to be raised. Shuddha, pure mind should raise this question to the impure mind. You like there, okay, why are you going? What did you get? You went 1,000 times before also, but why are you bothering me now? That's why, come back. Analysis is necessary. And then trying to bring back into the heart as a meditation time. And with the eyes open also. I never see God in anyone. I see a person as person. With his faults and failures. Mostly faults and failures. I am the perfect person. Everyone is in fault. You did that, you are right, you are wrong. So this is the impure mind. I am carrying with me. When it goes in my meditation time, with eyes open also, it works only that line. How can we change that mind into a practical point of pure mind which will be analyzing the objective universe in its true essence and try that behind this entire universe there is only one consciousness, that is divine, that is Satchidananda, that is your Ishta Devata, you can say Krishna, Rama, Christ, Buddha, whatever. But why I am not seeing that? Why my impure mind is showing these wrong things? And I am pampering that impure mind all the time. Wherever my mind takes, I run. We can control others. Hey, you should not do this, you should not do that. But if I say, hey, did you control your mind this morning? Where did it go when you are meditating? Where you are thinking of God, where does it go? When you are interacting with people, did you think that it is God you are interacting with? Why not think? Where was your thought? So that is the clingingness, the attachment. So Ashuddha, very simple. Ashuddham kama sankalpam. Ashuddha means impure mind is that where there is kama means desire. Desire is all the grades of desire, whatever they are. That's why Ramakrishna said this, how to purify yourself, how to realize God, how when Swami Rakhal, Hari Maharaj, Swami Turiyananda asked Ramakrishna, how shall I overcome the kama mind? Well, why it will go? Turn it. Turn that you love God. Instead of this, love God. Love who is the essence of all. So that idea is to be taken, how to make our mind ashuddha, impure mind, to a pure mind, to attached mind, to detached mind, to sticky pen, to unsticky pen. How we can change our attitude in our life. Every day, every movement, that will bring freedom. Freedom is not in the heaven. Freedom is not, as who said? No, bhumandale. Freedom is not in the sky, not in the heaven, not in Devaloke, Buddha said. Not in the Devaloka, not in the heaven. But here is the freedom, this detachment, and this looking at this world in this different way. And then one can live in the world joyfully at the same time, full of freedom and not stuck to anybody. That's why you look at all the great souls, Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Shankara, how they live. Their love flows for everyone. Why? They don't get stuck to anything because of their impulses, their own imperfections projecting. We always project our imperfection on whatever we see. Only good man can see good everywhere. The bad person sees bad everywhere. A thief sees theft everywhere. And holy man sees holiness everywhere. So the world does not change. World remains the same. But the viewing the world gives us the freedom from bondage. Thank you. Om madhuvata ritayate madhuksharanti sindhava madhvirna shantoshadihi madhunaktam toshasi madhumatparthivagum rajaha madhudaurastu napita madhumanno vanaspatihi madhumagum astu surjaha madhvirgavo bhavantunaha. Om madhu, om madhu, om madhu. Sweet blows the wind, and the very ocean gives forth blessedness. May the herbs and plants bring us health and happiness. Sweet unto be us be the nights and dawns. May every particle of Mother Earth be charged with blessings. May the heavens shower us with benediction. Sweet unto us be the noble forest trees. Sweet unto us be the radiant sun. Sweet unto us be all living creation. Om, sweetness, honey, harmony, peace.